So to me, the player that has the potential to be the 1A in that offense is Troy Horton. And
Yeah.
it's mostly due to like efficiency. Some things aren't sustainable. The touchdowns aren't, but like he just catches everything. Not to say that Jason doesn't, but there's more yak, in my opinion, with Troy Horton, and just more upside. You have to remember Troy Horton had a serious knee injury, which is why he went down so late. Right. I was very high on him the year before. That's why I drafted him in the fourth because I knew type
Yeah.
of player. So he goes down with that injury. He couldn't even like train, right? Missed the whole 3/4 of the season last year. Runs the 40, still hits a 4.41. His real speed is probably a 4.3. But I digress to say that he had a serious knee injury and is doing this his rookie season. They thought his rookie season was going to be a wash. I was expecting this
Yeah.
in year 2 and then year 3.
Highly disputed. Highly disputed. Let's have a drink and let's talk through it. Hey. Highly disputed. Highly disputed. Highly disputed. Highly disputed.
What is up? What is up? Week number 5 in the books. This is highly disputed. I got John, the professor, straight back from NYC, and I am the sauce chef down in the beautiful Tampa Bay, Florida.
What's happening?
What's going on, Professor? How was your trip?
It was great. New York treated me right, like New York always does. Saw the fam, saw the homies.
Yeah.
You know, the kid was back in town.
Nice to be back on the East Coast.
For sure. For sure. But we're back on the West Coast now.
So yeah, while you were gone, we hopped on Instagram last week, and we don't have a ton of followers yet. So if you're watching this, give us a follow. But we got over 3,000 views. One clip on Brian Thomas and me calling out the Jaguars, almost 1,000 views. So
We're now
I
4-1.
might have to up the 4-1, just like yourself. So you know, I love when my bad takes go viral.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling. Good feeling. So obviously, we're resonating with people. So let's keep that energy up. So Professor got a big win in our main league this week. Still 0-5 in best ball. What's going on with that, Professor? That's you're a commissioner of that league.
Listen, let's keep it football.
Let's keep it dynasty. Let's keep it dynasty. Well,
It is a dynasty.
I had a really rough beat again. But you know, I'm not gonna make excuses. I'm not gonna complain about, you know, the better team won. Yeah, that's it. There's nothing I really could have done, lineup wise. So you roll with it. I'm scoring more points each week, and I just got to keep scoring points. I got Matt next week. You know, stay in playoff contention and keep moving forward. Any thoughts on? I mean, you're 4-1. You're in position number 2. You're making a run. You making a run this year?
Just like my preseason ranking of myself. Yes, I'm making a run.
Good.
You know, 4-1. If you're 4-1, 5-0 out there, don't be trigger happy to make a move to solidify yourself. Just go week by week, right? Keep your assets, stay fluid, stay liquid, right? A first on your team is better than X player because X player can break their ankle. A pick can't break its ankle, even if the class is going to be bad, which allegedly now the 2026 class is looking bad, you know, 6 weeks into the college football season. But, you know, especially at quarterback.
Yeah, I'll hold my, you know, every year people hype up class. Like, there's always going to be good players coming out of college. So, you know, obviously if you value a certain class more than others, but you know, we can barely predict 1 week in advance, let alone a year in advance. And you know, people love, grass is always greener, right? So
I don't know. I will say that the Caleb Williams QB class is hyped up. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Like I would say more than like the past 5-10 years, and it's my humble opinion starting to hold that weight. You got Drake May, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams looks phenomenal this year. Like, you know, 3, and then I guess jury's still out on Michael Penix Jr. and JJ. I mean, like to say sometimes, you know, sometimes they're right because they said the QB class of Bryce Young and CJ Stroud wasn't going to be as strong, and it doesn't. Although CJ had a great game last week, it doesn't necessarily look that way.
Yeah, CJ had a really good game last week, 4 touchdowns. Bryce Young actually got the win.
The dub.
and he put a couple put a couple balls on a dime, but he also, he for some reason he's got to start each game with a fumble and then an interception before. So if he could just play good for a whole game, he might be better. But you look at guys like Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield, who were both on the Carolina Panthers, and we had the privilege of watching those guys play football this weekend, and they threw it all over the friggin' park up there in Seattle. What's the name of your stadium? Lumen Stadium now.
Yeah, Luma Field.
Yeah, they threw it all over the park. So Dynasty's a long game. You take advantage of, when everyone's ready to give up on somebody, bet on talent. Bet on talent over situation,
But
because situations can change.
situations can change. Don't get overhyped in the narrative. A lot of people, are looking at the ex Jets narrative of Geno and Sam Darnold, and maybe Zach Wilson's on that trajectory. But what I will say is that the Geno's trajectory doesn't look that great anymore. I think he had 1 year. Sam Darnold, I would agree, and I think a better comparison is the Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield trajectory, and who's on that
Yeah.
redemption arc. And it's clearly Daniel Jones, but
Yes.
who's probably, at a high value to acquire right now. You have to throw a lot of resources, but I would say Mac Jones is definitely an acquire low player right now because he doesn't have a guaranteed job, but he looks pretty redemption arc to me. And if I look at Sam Darnold and Baker, and whoever else you want to throw in there, I'm not sure they even had a better first year than Mac Jones. I mean, Mac Jones, I believe, was a Pro Bowl extra his first year with the Patriots before they kind of tanked his confidence and ruined it. All that to say is, it doesn't have to be the Jets or the Browns to be a bad organization. The Patriots under Bill Belichick after Tom Brady left were a bad organization. Clearly, we're seeing that in year one.
Terrible.
With Vrabel. So props to Vrabel and props to the ownership for firing their coach last year after 1 year. I didn't think that was a good decision, but clearly they got the right guy this time.
Well, and no offense to Gerard Mayo, but Bill Belichick kind of handpicked him as I think Bill Belichick wanted to leave his legacy in the Patriots, and so that was again maybe a bad call on his part, because you see what he's doing down in Chapel Hill. And now he's not even letting UNC, their social media, talk about Drake May at all, because he's a Tar Heel alum. So he's banning the university's media from hyping up their alumni who's balling out for the Patriots. That's how bitter this man is.
It's ridiculous, but
he's a hater.
You didn't get it done without Tom Brady. That's okay. That's okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're not getting it done in college ball, but we'll save that. I think proof is in the pudding down there. So big news that just came in today. Let's just kick it off with that. Bengals making a move at QB, sending a fifth over to the Browns for Joe Flacco in exchange for a sixth coming back. Makes sense. Jake Browning has not looked startable. Dylan Gabriel looks serviceable in London. Flacco to Jamar Chase, Flacco to T. Higgins. How do you see that looking?
Probably better than what it's looked like right now for Chase. Flacco typically likes to lock in on one guy, so someone's gonna eat.
Yeah,
probably not a couple.
T. Higgins has been kind of ass this year. Got paid, but yeah, you need a guy like Joe Burrow to really feed two receivers consistently. I thought Joe Flacco looked slow. He made the whole offense slow. Bengals are going to be kind of slow, but he's still, when he's got time in the pocket, he can still fling it downfield. So, we'll see him in Cincinnati. He's staying in Ohio. I think getting to watch Joe Flacco play on Sunday is good for the league still,
Agreed.
It's like, man, I watched like Vinny Testaverde when I was really young. He was like 42. I forget where he was playing for, like Carolina. I remember watching him play. But seeing guys who have been in the league for almost as long as we've been alive, Jesus. Yeah, I mean, Bengals had to make a move. I don't think I don't think it really elevates anybody. I'd be trying to, I don't know. Chase Brown is interesting to me because he's not a guy that was like highly touted in terms of draft capital. You know, he was either a late round pick in dynasty drafts or went undrafted. And he started, and then his value kind of spiked. He's looking, actually traded him in another league for a team I inherited, and I probably sold him low, but he's somebody I would sell while they have value, because his value could completely revert back to where it was.
Couldn't agree more, right? So you gotta look at player positions. Obviously, these players are people, but the position you have to look at. So don't look at the actual player. We get too player focused, but look at position, right? So when it comes to the running back position, if you're going to compare the running back position to like an investable asset, running backs are like cryptocurrency. They're not really stocks. Wide receiver, right, quarterback, tight ends, those positions are stocks. But the running back is very much like cryptocurrency, meaning that it can rise. It can rise higher than any of the stocks, but it can also be worthless and worth like nothing tomorrow at that position, unless it's now I will say some running backs, now we're talking about the actual players, are the Bitcoin. So even if Bitcoin drops 50%, it's still going to be an asset that people are going to be interested in very soon once it rebounds.
Understood.
But there are some running backs, right, that are like
that are Dogecoin.
That are Dogecoin, right? So you gotta look at that.
Or what was that? The Hawk Tua coin,
right? So I say that all to make a pretty simple point. Chase Brown was never Bitcoin.
Yeah,
at his highest, he
Ethereum, maybe,
right? So meaning that like you should probably sell any running back that you don't think is going to be Bitcoin, right? So I'll give an example. Breece Hall to me is Bitcoin. Like this is his floor. His floor is like, we're gonna trade him, meaning that he's still good, but the team just might not mess with him. Chase Brown might not even really be tradable for his team right now. Like they're not gonna get the value that they want. So he might just kind of get buried, right? And be in a weird position and end up being
right.
Like there's tons of running backs like this that are just kind of journeymen. Vontae Williams, right? You're gonna have to wait 3.5 years when he's on the Cowboys to get, primo valuations. Long-winded way to say you did not sell Chase Brown at his lowest point in value. At the end of the day, he was never a Bitcoin. He does not play a position where,
You say you do not sell him now?
No, I'm saying you did the right thing. You did not sell him too low because his value could be at a point where he's not tradable.
He's droppable.
Yeah, because
so what I was saying before, I'm like, look at its talent versus situation. I think Chase Brown, while I liked his draft profile, he benefited more from situation than his talent.
And scheme. Correct.
A guy like Breece Hall is, he went 1-1 for a reason. Like he's an extremely talented player who's in not the best situation.
Yeah. Kind of more like a poor man's Saquon Barkley. That's the Breece situation. So don't sell him.
Sure.
Another example, I'd say someone who I gave up on too quickly was because of the draft I was trying to do is Rachaad White, who is talented, is a receiving back, profiles like a poor man's Christian McCaffrey.
I love that trade.
But I traded that player because I really believed in the player drafted in the 4th, Torrey Horton. So I personally have no regrets.
Right.
Even though I love Rachaad White and he's very valuable right now, I got Torrey Horton. Right. I didn't think Torrey Horton was going to be available after the draft. So it's a situation where it worked out for both of us. But don't be afraid if you really believe in a player in the draft that might not be there in free agency. That can be a difference maker for your team. Don't be afraid to trade an asset, a player that's depreciated in value, but another player might like that, like a handcuff, like he was for Bucky, and that's worked out for both of us. Because I'm not mad that I have Torrey Horton, and you're not mad that you have, Rachaad White. So
especially after, so this week, let's talk about some games this week. We'll just start with because Seattle played Tampa. Hang on, I'm looking up where Rachaad White was drafted. He was ASU, so he was a third round pick, 91 overall. So he's top 100 pick. That's Chase Brown, I believe, was 6th round out of a smaller program
out of Illinois.
And he played a lot of years at Illinois.
Yeah, he was older.
And Rashad Wright didn't lose his job because he wasn't a good running back. He lost his job because Bucky Irving is just
Top
a
10.
phenom, and I'll argue that he's top 5. But
I would too.
Rashad White showed that he's a top 30, top 20, top 25
yes.
running back at the position.
They should use both.
And right. And they find ways to get in both of them, man. It's just hard to take Bucky off the field. But he's just all around, he scored twice against Seattle. He's great in pass protection. He's great in the passing game. He just has a knack for the sticks. He knows how to go get a first down, runs his routes like a wide out. Like you said, like a lot like Christian McCaffrey, like great. The only thing, McCaffrey's a little more compact. White's a little bit taller, so he has had some kind of injury history just because he's like a taller back, runs a little upright. But great game from him. And then, Horton got a touchdown too against the Bucks. He's looking like the number 2 wideout across from JSN.
He's phenomenal.
Who's yeah.
You want to hear something?
Yeah, I'd love to.
I think he has the potential to be the number 1.
Who does? To be the number 1 receiver in Seattle? So that's a hot take for me because you've also told me that Jackson Smith, Njigba, Jackson Smith,
JSN.
and JSN. I should be able to pronounce names though. I'll work on it before the podcast. We'll edit it out. So you've made the case that JSN could be wide receiver 1, not in Seattle, but in Dynasty.
He could.
I believe he's leading the league in receiving yards currently, I believe.
He could, but there are certain things that Torrey can do that JSN can't. And JSN is like a Mecca Ibuka. A couple episodes ago, you said, hey, I think I love Ibuka, but I think he's a really like an elite 2, right? But an elite 2 can put up.
Yeah, I was wrong about that.
No, hear me out. An elite 2 can put up wide receiver 1 numbers when there isn't a wide receiver 1 playing. No Michael Evans, right?
Heard.
Right. And I disagree with that. I said he's a 1. Even if he's a 1B, he's a 1. I think to me, I think JSN and Ibuka are both 1s, but they're 1Bs. A 1B can still have a 1 overall season. Here's another hot take. Cooper Kupp was a 1B. Yeah, he had the greatest receiving year of all time, but he was a 1B. What he did could not be sustained over a decade. 1As to me.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed.
So 1As to me are the guys that do it year in and year out. Michael Evans, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, there's only him and Jerry Rice have done it like that. But I know what you're saying.
So when you're asking me
Puka Nacua
is a 1A.
Devontae Adams.
Yeah. Yep. Cooper Kupp was
in his prime.
Cooper Kupp was a 1, looked like a 1A. The Puka said, nah, bro, I'm the 1A, you're the 1B, and if you don't like it, you're going to get traded, right? So, because he wasn't worth the money, because they paid him like he was a 1, right? Now, I digress. So, to me, the player that has the potential to be the 1A in that offense is Troy Horton. And it's mostly due to, like, efficiency. Some things aren't sustainable. The touchdowns aren't, but, like, he just catches everything. Not to say that Jason doesn't, but there's more yak, in my opinion, with Troy Horton, and just more upside. You have to remember, Troy Horton had a serious knee injury, which is why he went down so late, right? I was very high on him the year before. That's why I drafted him in the 4th, because I knew that player. So he goes down with that injury. He couldn't even like train, right? Missed the whole 3/4 of the season last year. Runs the 40, still hits a 4.41. His real speed is probably a 4.3. But I digress to say that he had a serious knee injury and is doing this his rookie season. They thought his rookie season was going to be a wash. I was expecting this in year 2, and then year 3, Pro Bowler. Now I'm seeing this in year 1. Year 2, I could see Pro Bowler. Yeah, and if I'm looking at both of them,
those guys,
right? Horton and Jason, they're both putting up Pro Bowl numbers. I just feel like Horton has like the game that can stretch the field, that can like more efficiently kind of get these wide receiver 1 numbers, right? But they're gonna equal each other out.
He's also 2 yards. He's 2 inches. He's 2 inches taller than JSN.
And Jason's gonna get his numbers.
I think he can. He's 22 years old. He's got some room on that frame. And like I said, sometimes with these injuries, especially with medicine today, it's way less miles on these guys. And they're coming back in if they make a full recovery. and they're young enough in their career, they're coming back in stronger. So yeah, I think that's a hot take, but I think you could be right there.
I'm just, yes, it's a hot take, but I'm not afraid of having a hot take, and
For sure.
that I'm
That's your guy.
that I'm invested in. I've watched this player at Colorado State for 3-4 years,
That's your guy.
multiple, lots of tape, right? So I'm even in a conversation with the guy on Twitter randomly. We're just both love Twitter, right? So it's like I really believe in the player. But anyways, just I know kind of getting off topic here.
You got to run our Twitter account. You got to get us on Twitter.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about the guy across from him who also went to Ohio State, who I said was a number 2. That's what I meant was he wears number 2. That's his jersey because he's the number 1. He's the number 1 stunner. Well, what? Like, this dude catches everything. He's behind the defense. He shredded you guys. And he's shredding everybody. It's not just Seattle. He's really been shredded. He's got 5 touchdowns, 5 games.
The crazy thing is he's from the Seattle, Washington area.
Yeah. He had family there. There was a lot of Bucks fans there. Shout out to the Bucks fans showing up. You see that fan? Apparently, y'all have a fan who just talks shit to the opposing team, like right by the tunnel.
I saw that. Talk about it.
He got it. He got into it with Baker a little bit.
Yeah.
Baker's barking at him, and Tristan Wirf is just like he's standing next to Baker like he's security at the club, and Baker's like a hot chick, and he's just kind of smiling, but. Yeah, guy went off on him a little bit, and then Baker comes back end of the game, and he remembered that he turned around and pointed at. He remembered this dude. I'm like, this motherfucker has receipts.
Psychotic.
Like he called out the DC of the Jets after the loss because he was the one who cut him for the Panthers. Steve Wilkes.
Yo. Baker.
Yeah, it's like
I'm gonna go on record. I have to say it. Baker is my favorite player right now. I gave him him too soon. He's great for football. His demeanor is great for football. When people say, "Oh, but he didn't come from whatever." No, this dude was a walk-on. He has had to prove himself time and time after again, except for one time when the NFL was like, "Hey, you're the number 1 overall pick," and he still had to prove himself again, like the team that gave up on him, right? So
he took Cleveland to the playoffs and beat the Steelers. He won a playoff game for Cleveland, which is something that nobody's like. Who?
Yeah, don't bet against Baker ever. Like honestly, he's my he's my number 1 right now for the MVP. Like
what point?
I'd put money on it in Vegas.
They should give him comeback player of the year too. Like, come on, man.
He's had 3 straight top 10 seasons. Like he's
but he deserves it. He deserves it for coming back from that crazy ass year he had.
He should have got it 2 years ago.
This is an example, though. This is an example. I'm talking about talent and situation, and this is a great example of talent and situation. Just perfect timing. Just like when things fall into they were meant to be, because he loves the city of Tampa. This offense is built like the weapons we have, the offensive line we put together, the culture, it's like he goes down there and gets the drive, but Seattle got the ball back. And then Levante David picks off Sam Darnold at the end. And Levante David has been playing for this organization for the last, 12 years, almost 12, 15 years at an elite level. Baker's the first guy, from offense who goes up to him at the end of the game. And that's the difference too between Sam Darnold and Baker for me, is when the game is on the line, it's like, who would you rather had the ball?
You're not even close. And Sam Darnold's been great.
He's been great, but if it comes down, all things being even, and it's the last team with the ball, that's when
Baker has the it factor.
Having a killer.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's just a killer. It's just cold-blooded. It's absolutely surgical.
Yeah, surgical is the right word.
Because he's probably thinking in the background. He's like, there's no way I'm gonna let that fan fucking say shit to me. He's thinking. He's like, we got the. I just love it. It's fun to watch. It's Mekambuka is fun to watch. I gave up HN to go get him, and he's a back. I think he's awesome. I think he's going to have a great career. I hope he goes on to a different organization than Miami. Can you imagine him like replacing CMC in Shanahan's offense? Like he would just rip it, so you got to think long term, because when talent meets situation, it's a beautiful thing. I think we might have another slogan there. All right.
Real
Week
quick,
5, what else popped out at you? Yeah.
I was going to say, so we're kind of staying in the division with the Niners again. I know we talked about Mac Jones
Yeah, that was a wild game.
a little bit, so we don't have to spend.
We need to talk a little more about Mac Jones.
Yeah, so Mac Jones, I mean, he, like I said, is on that like Baker, Sam Darnold trajectory, but to me, it actually kind of mirrors what's going on with the Colts. Like I could see, there's certain teams that maybe are built to kind of win, but the quarterback's not right. I mean, who knows? Like maybe Mac Jones is playing for the Jets, right? I hope not, because I have
Well,
Justin Fields.
I got a hot take.
What's up?
I got a hot take. Rare talent situation. A guy who I don't think was that talented, but benefited from a great situation. Brock Purdy. So you look at draft capital. I've talked about this. There's rumors within that organization that Shanahan wanted Mac Jones all along, and it was John Lynch who wanted to go Trey Lance.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that.
So now he's got Mac Jones for nothing. The Niners aren't afraid to move on from a quarterback.
I mean,
they cut their bait with Trey Lance. They did it with Garoppolo. They've done it with they did it with Kaepernick. Although the league kind of conspired against him on that, but they're not Shanahan knows his system, and the way Mac Jones gutted it out to win that game,
he's a dog,
is a way that Brock Purdy physically is not built. Like he doesn't. We've seen him obviously he's had some freak injuries that I'm not saying like when he broke his elbow, he should have played through that. But if he can't stay on the field, I can see Mac Jones taking over this offense and some other organization going to overpay Brock Purdy and him having, him kind of reverting back to his talent.
I don't think that's that hot of a take anymore, to be honest.
I mean, they extended him, but John Lynch knows what to do. And there's organizations that are willing to overpay for a quarterback. For sure.
They could also trade Brock Purdy. There's plenty of teams that would take him, right? It's not like Trey Lance
and take on his contract too, or some of it at least. I don't know what Mac Jones is on a 1-year contract, so you have to pay him.
Yeah.
But
it's kind of like
I can also you're not going to get a better deal on Mac Jones. It's kind of how we got Baker. We got Baker on a 1 year, and then we were like, hey, you're our guy. So we committed to him before he hit free agency. And now we basically have him on a steal.
Then a steal, like honestly, it was a steal when he signed, but but I think he wanted a better team around him. I think he learned maybe like from what Brady did. Like he might not try to break the bank.
Yeah, that's what Brady does.
He might not try to break the bank. If I'm him, I'm like, hey, I'll take a lower yearly salary or whatever. Just if it's a 5-year, make the first like 4 guaranteed. You don't got to guarantee the 5th, whatever it is.
Right. And this is a man who's made over $100 million, and he will take like 4 to 8 less million to stay in a great situation, and to live by the water and have not have to be in Cleveland and be able to jet ski in the off season.
He's trying to win it all,
and he'll be like, "Hey, beef up my offensive line." He's probably still got money from those Progressive commercials or whatever. Where he was mowing the grass at Cleveland State. You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
You do. They should bring those back. Except he should be down in Tampa. All right, that's enough. What else? Niners. Kendrick Bourne. He was showing chemistry with Mac Jones, but. Again, Mac Jones, reason why he was a 1st-round pick, dude was a winner at Alabama, and that was a gutsy performance by him to get a huge win for them.
Absolutely.
And are there any LA fans in LA? Because that stadium was red. They were going silent count. The Rams were going silent count at home.
It's LA.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. People got money. Beautiful people, beautiful cars. Beautiful beaches. They're not really worried about going to watch football. And Miami's kind of like
They
that
shouldn't.
too with the Dolphins and
Miami is like
the
that.
Heat. You know, when they're really good, a little different. I think Miami's probably a basketball city, but
I mean, Tampa, there was a lot of Philly fans. There's a lot of Philly fans when Philadelphia came to town.
yeah, but
I'm
Tampa
thinking
is
about going.
also like half the size of, I mean, a third of the size of LA. Like it's LA. You have
Oh,
enough
for
people. You have
sure.
like,
Yeah, we're a small.
yeah,
We're a small market. I feel like if the Raiders would have gone back to LA, then maybe there would have been a fan base.
I agree with that.
You know, maybe send the friggin' Chargers to Las Vegas. Anyways, that's. I remember visiting St. Louis when the Rams were playing when the Rams were playing there, and it felt really screwed St. Louis. They had Sam Bradford at QB, and I was at a bar in St. Louis. Great fucking town. Shout out to St. Louis. You know, everyone's wearing jerseys, even if they should have never taken them away. Greatest show on turf. That was fucking fun. All right. Totally off topic now, but you know, that's how we do it. We shoot from the hip here. Week 5. What else?
There's a lot of blowouts.
I hit on some.
Yeah, there's a lot of blowouts.
Yeah, there's a lot of just non-competitive games. I hit on some good ones. We didn't get to do a money line episode, but I'm back. Hit on the Broncos. So I saw it's 17-3, you know, at the beginning of the third. Broncos are plus 1,400. And I was like, all right, I'll put 10 on them. And they're marching down the field. And I'm like, all right, I'll put another 10 on them. And then they go and score. Philadelphia gives them ball right back. They score again. And then Sean Payton, being the psycho that he is, just goes for 2, which I love that. I love that call. Also, shout out to Sean McVay for going for 2 in overtime, and not forcing us through a tie there, even though it was a terrible call by Sean McVay. I don't ever want to see a tie.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Cardinals game, because I think that's gonna be
But yeah, that's
a hot topic. I mean, what was your take there?
Fucking embarrassing. I didn't watch the whole thing because that was when the Bucks were playing, but I was watching it. I was watching it from the app, from the sleeper app. You know, Kyler Murray does this. He and the Cardinals do this. It's like they start hot, and then they just it's like just because it's 14-0 doesn't mean like they think they got the game. And then they just find the most creative ways to fucking lose it.
That's coaching, though.
It's coaching, it's culture, it's a lack of I just think the personality is there too. It's like Kyler doesn't strike me as a strong. We talked about Marvin Harrison. Like none of these guys there's zero dog in that organization.
I disagree. I actually think Marv is the dog now, and I'm seeing it. I think he's a humble dog.
Who?
Marvin Harrison Jr.
I think Trey McBride, maybe.
Trey McBride definitely is, but so is Marv.
I mean, James Conner brought that attitude, and that's
he did, but he's not there right now. Talking about current players, they're missing him. So here's the reason with coaching, and it's going to be a segue into like what happened. But you don't when you play not to lose. That's not on Kyler. You're just running it like a bunch of times with. I'm even blanking on his name because he wasn't playing 2 weeks ago. Michael Carter.
Michael Carter.
Thank you. It's like, why? Because they're trying to like bleed the clock out. It's like, no, do what got you that 2-score lead, that 14-point lead.
Right. Give it to your superstars. Like let Kyler throw it to McBride and Harrison.
Yeah. Oh, what? You're moving the ball.
What are you doing? Or if it's not there, let Kyler fucking run it. Kyler is better at running the ball than Michael Carter.
Yes, exactly. And then
is it a hot take? Like Jesus, like do a quarterback draw instead of and then I gotta talk about Amari DeMarc drop the ball off. DeMarc hauled the ball off. Like what? I see 72-yard touchdown run. I'm like, fuck yeah, because I flexed him and he had done nothing. Which I don't understand because he was the number 2 and you elevate Michael Carter. And I guess they just don't think he's built for first or second down. But like the guy ripped one off, so he's clearly got juice.
Michael Carter's been in the system just for a while too, though. Yeah,
off and on though. He hasn't been in the system that long. DeMarc Carter has been with the organization for a couple of years.
I think this is Michael Carter's 3rd year on Arizona.
Right, but he started at the Jets. You tried to trade him to me at one time. You had him at he's been all around.
Yeah.
you know, obviously, I think that he's just a better kind of in between the tackles. Like, but I mean, they're built very similarly. They're both 5'8".
Yeah. So that was unfortunate that it happened. Jonathan Taylor did that last year. Matt Mitchell did the same thing.
Okay, he's been with the Cardinals since 2023. So they've both been
Yeah, so he's been.
they've both been at the organization.
The
Yeah.
professor knows his stuff.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna edit that out. But yeah, tough game. But I think just not to overfocus on like what John Gannon did, but there's potential for him to get fired. I'm seeing that the NFLPA is now investigating this.
What did he do? What did he do? Because I don't have the full story here.
I'll say he did what a coach would do to a player in like Pee Wee football or like junior high. He went up to him, ran up on him in a moment of weakness for DiMarcado while he's being consoled by one of the linemen. And then teammate, yep. And really kind of not summed in a good way, but like, you know, he got in his chest, and it's kind of hard to see from the angle if he like chest bumped him or like was like kind of like putting it in his chest, right? And then because his hand, I don't know why DiMarcado's hand is kind of up like this. And as he's walking away, Gannon kind of like strikes his like arm down, like with like a punching motion, like clearly, you know, like when someone's like walking away, they're like, "Oh," right? But he did that on like his arm, like super aggressive. Like you should watch the video. Like I'm not here to. I'm just trying to recount what happened from like my vantage point, right?
I saw a photograph, so I didn't really see.
Now you gotta watch the video. It's on Twitter.
Did he hit him? Did he make contact?
Of course he made contact. No, he made contact for sure. Like aggressive contact.
So he swung.
I'm not gonna. It's kind of hard for me to say, right? Not say, but yes, he swung him, but he didn't like swing in his face. It wasn't like he was like this. He's like walking away, and then he's like, "Wha!" on DiMarcado's arm, right? And they're investigating it for a reason.
Nah.
It's bogus. He apologized about it to the team and whatever, and then pretend like he didn't watch it, which he honestly might get fired. Like the way he's like, yeah, he apologized to DiMarcado and the team and this, that, and the other.
No, he should get fired. That team is way too talented to be this bad. And like I said, they're finding ways to lose football games.
Yeah.
They're finding ways to lose football games versus inferior. They were playing the Tennessee Titans. Like the Titans were not. They gave them the game.
Like my thing,
you see, like they intercepted the ball and then they fumbled it back into the end zone and let the Titans recover. Like,
you know,
they're finding ways to.
You know what most coaches do though?
To lose.
Listen, when you're a leader, you have to be aware of. You have to be able to regulate your own emotions, right? This is a leader in any line of business, right? So this happened to Matt Mitchell. Everyone was consoling him. Coach told him, "Hey, it's all right," but he's like, "Hey, you're gonna have to earn it now. Like, we're gonna make you work back." And they benched him last week, which people disagreed with that. But that's a far cry from making contact with your player, which they still didn't play them, which makes no sense. But I'm just like, a head coach is like they say the quarterback's a CEO. The quarterback is still a player. The head coach is like, you have control over my job security in a way that even the quarterback doesn't, right? Unless he's actually just like purposely kind of freezing me out of the offense. So like, you call the plays, you decide who like makes the cut with the GM, whatever. But certain coaches like have more of a say. So it's like it just is kind of tacky. I can't imagine like if someone that was like the CEO of the business I work at, like, imagine if the owner of a company that you work at, besides the ones that you own yourself, kind of like chewed you out in like one of your worst moments at work publicly. And then as he's walking away, like, and you had your arms up kind of like this, kind of like hit one of them like down. I'm not saying he had his hands up, but his hands are
the guy
raised for a reason.
He knew he fucked up. He knew he fucked up. Here's my and this is like you're saying, this is leadership 101. So it's like I've been a head chef, and like what we would always you praise in public, discipline in private. If anything, he should have gone up to that young man and dapped him up and been like, you know what I mean? Like that's the time you show you have an opportunity to show the rest of the team that like you're not an insufferable, incompetent idiot, which he is.
Because my thing is like
he had an opportunity. Because it's not just him and that man. It's also everyone else on that bench for that organization.
It's also like, bro, you put him back out there, just like a real leader of a quarterback does. Like, receiver drops the ball, what do? They go back to him again, drop again, they go back to him again. It's like, I trust you, and you're going to get this right.
I love that. I love when coaches do that.
Yeah.
Like if a guy fumbles, if a guy drops the ball, it's like, okay, what do you do next possession? You throw like a quick screen to him, find a way to get the ball in his hands. Like that's good coaching.
Like
That's good, or that's good organizational integrity. And the Cardinals are completely lacking that, and it's affecting their superstars because there's no way Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison and Trey McBride with a defense that is not terrible.
Yeah, Kyler looked way
You got
better.
guys like Buda Baker.
The previous
Like
coaching
there's
staff.
obviously it's a tough division, but you can't give up balls to the Titans and the Panthers. You can't do it, especially when you're winning the game, and that's enough. The Cardinals subreddit right now is just posting pictures of Cardinals, of the bird. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. So
It's hilarious.
let's move on from them. Congrats, Cam Ward, on getting your first win. I think your comments last week, let's keep it a buck, you're still ass, but Cardinals gave you that game. So congrats. I think he's going to get better. I think he's the next coach. The Tennessee Titans coach is the next coach to be fired. Speaking of coaches getting fired, Miami and Carolina, 2 coaches on the hot seat. Miami did the same thing that Arizona did. They jumped out to an early lead. Darren Waller's looking awesome. And then they play not to lose the game, and they find a new and exciting way to lose to Bryce Young and the Panthers. And we got Rico Dottle out here looking like friggin' Emmitt Smith.
Yeah, jeez.
He's getting 200 all-purpose yards. Xavier Legette even dunked on them. Trey Tremble, and then Mitchell Evans filling in at tight end. Like those guys are eating. And Panthers they find, if they didn't shoot themselves in the foot right out of the gate, they'd be a much more competitive team. McDaniels, to his credit, would never go and hit a player. But he just looks totally. You can't look that defeated. You know what I mean? It's like we can hit our weed pen and talk about ball, but to do that like before a press conference when your team is trash, not a good look, I don't know. And I just think there's talent on Miami. I think they are more talented than the Panthers, but they're finding ways to lose. I don't understand. Like Waller was balling out and then he didn't get another target. Like the second half, they just completely, it's just, I don't understand what they are doing.
No idea.
I'd
say Dable probably is going to get fired before Mike McDaniels. Giants look horrendous.
Yeah, let's talk about that. They played the Saints. Yeah.
They should have won that.
And again, I think the Giants are more talented even without Malik Neighbors than the Saints. I think Jackson Dart is a better quarterback in terms of pedigree and draft capital. Props to Spencer Rattler for hanging around. But you said it yourself. If Slew wasn't good enough to beat Rattler, it's because he's not very good. And then
I did say that.
They found.
I did say that.
You did say that.
I will say Rattler.
Has your opinion on
No, has it changed? Has not changed, but just
you gonna give him some props.
This is the wrong word, but I do want to say he does have a high pedigree out of high school. Like DGen, for an interview, people that play Dynasty, this is a Dynasty show. Spencer Rattler had that whole situation with Caleb Williams in college, where Caleb Williams took his job, and then Spencer Rattler became a journeyman. But he was like a 5-star quarterback, which kind of means nothing because most of the great quarterbacks in the league aren't 5-star recruits in high school. But yeah. I think that kind of messed with his head. I think he just thinks he's probably better than he is, and probably could be better if he maximized what he does well instead of trying to be a better quarterback than he is. So opinion hasn't changed. My opinion of Dable has changed because he should have beat Spencer Rattler.
I mean, everybody who's listening to this show knows my opinion on Dable. So I'm not gonna, I'd say beat a dead horse. I'm surprised this horse has survived as long as it has. I think that's kind of on the Mara family, which I was doing a little research into the Mara family, and they're connected to the Rooneys. Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Interesting. And one of the daughters is, because I got into a conversation at a bar about, I was like, Kathy Ursay or whatever. I was like, she's definitely got to be the hottest owner. of a NFL team. And somebody disagreed with me, and I'm like, "Well, have you seen everyone else looks like the friggin' crypt keeper?" So, anyways, getting off topic. Remind me what we were talking about before I went on a tangent. Oh,
The
the
Giants.
Spencer Rattler. Yeah, I feel like the Giants, they got to win. You know, basically Jackson Dart willed them to that first win. They have an opportunity to build some momentum. You know, Dable might have a chance if they go on a little run to keep his job. But to lose to the Saints, and there was a point where it was kind of competitive, but the Saints just, you know, your guy Shaheed just torched him. So if Rattler can just get him the ball when he's that guy can fly.
Shaheed is a player I would go get in any format. Best ball, dynasty, redraft, trade, you know, whatever
Torture.
it is. Because I was contemplating whether or not to play him. I was kind of paying attention to the Saints strategy with what they were thinking. Their offensive coordinator specifically said they need to get Rashid Shaheed the ball more.
Yeah. That was your problem, is you were paying you thought the Saints had a strategy.
They did to get their players the ball. This is you know, I know we're just joking here, but for fantasy football, you got to see like what arrow the tip is pointing. Coaches are coy and they'll lie and won't say anything, and some will tell you what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
If an offensive coordinator says, "I need to get this guy the ball more," that's not a secret. Like they're not doing that. That's not deception. It's like they know it, the other team knows it, we know it. They're gonna feed that guy. But just the fact that, you know, nobody on the Giants could catch him or bring him down, talks about his speed, and also talks about the effort that the Giants are playing with, and that's on Dable. Because the only guys playing with heart, I would say, would be on the offense, your rookie quarterback and your rookie running back, Scatterbill, even though, you know,
Andrew Thomas
he
too,
put one on the
left tackle.
yeah. There's guys on offense. You know, Darius Slayton got hurt, but
Skill players, yeah, you're probably
they
right.
they, they got Philadelphia on Thursday, and that might cost him his job. I don't really want to see the Giants in prime time. Get them out of prime time.
Depends how they look. If they get blown out, it could cost him his job. I agree.
Yeah, they look like
But that was
they look like trash.
yeah. What other games you want to talk about? Like,
Another, I mean, the Cowboys Jets game was pretty non-competitive. Colts Raiders non-competitive. Man, we could go straight
Texans, Baltimore is
into
not
Sunday.
competitive. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, you lose Lamar, but and that's somebody who you mentioned, or you sent me about the hot seat, Harbaugh. But I think Harbaugh's earned the right to have a bad season
Not
if they
really,
come out and look this.
because they tried to fire him and then he
Okay.
played Lamar, right? He hasn't brought them to the Super Bowl in 13 years. I think he's going to have an Andy Reid exit. I don't know when his contract is up, but I think they're going to push him out. He's going to go to another organization, do really well, but they're going to bring in like a younger, more like a nimble person who will play Keaton Mitchell, actually.
Well, sometimes you need a change of scenery. Andy Reid's a great example.
Yeah. They got Shane Steichen. Like, you can be a great, I think Mike Tomlin needs to do that as well. I think he's gotten stale.
Yeah, I would agree. And that's when you start trotting, you know, bringing in Aaron, you're rolling out vets, and while, you know, it keeps you but like the Steelers are always like right there, but nobody ever thinks the Steelers are going to win the Super Bowl, you know, not since Roethlisberger. But yeah, you don't want to waste Lamar's window just because he's Harbaugh. Sometimes it's mutually beneficial. I think Tomlin on the Raider, not like that would ever happen, but you know,
Yeah, who knows what would happen if they
I
swap,
think
but they need to leave the division.
that would be
That would be ridiculous.
that team needs that team needs a new identity, I think, at coaching. I don't think he's a bad coach, but yeah, they got dunked on, and that's not something, you know. And even you saw that who scored and did the Ray Lewis. You see that the guy from the Texans scored, and he did the Ray Lewis, kind of like how Ray Lewis would run out of the tunnel.
I missed that.
Yeah, but they tried to the Texans, who are not a great team, were stunning on them. Jets were also non-competitive, but your guy Mason Taylor had a good game. So
Good game.
that's nice. They're really bad.
They're bad.
I think Aaron Glenn is I think he's a better coach than some of the guys we've talked about, but the Jets just might be cursed. What, you want to go into Sunday night, or is there anything else we need to talk about? Chargers,
nothing to talk about there.
Charger-
They just regressed, so they're not really a Super Bowl contender for me anymore. And then Detroit,
they lost Amari and Hampton.
They also marry Hampton, which is huge.
And they also lost the game.
Okay, so let's talk waiver real quick. Who do you got between the two backups for Meyer and Hampton?
Yeah, this might be a situation where I just don't want a part of it.
Yeah, because
I picked up Amari DiMercato a week before. I picked him up when James Conner got hurt, not when Trey Benson got hurt. And then they end up going with Michael Carter. Bam Knight got a touchdown. I'm probably not going to keep DiMercato, although I do like the talent, but I just want out of that backfield. We got Haskins, Vidal, and then they just signed Hines.
Yeah.
What's his first name?
Haskins? Wait, no. Naeem Hines?
Yeah, they just signed
Really?
Naeem Hines,
Okay.
who was he was in training camp with them, and they cut him as part of the 53. But they just signed him. So Haskins, Vidal, and Hines now. And that's not really a situation. I'll let somebody else break I might put in a low bid on one of those guys as a lotto ticket, but I'm not going to break the bank on.
I will say, to me, Vidal looks better from the tape I've looked at, and I haven't looked at it extensively, so I'm gonna need to really assess this. But Haskins, I do believe, played at Michigan with Harbaugh and played well.
And Haskins the bigger back.
But he just, to me,
he's 6'2".
He's just not efficient. But I don't know. Maybe they'll keep him open. But like he was 5 of 13 for 2.6. In week 5, and then even last year his yards per carry were looking like 2.6 on 34 rushing attempts. I just haven't seen it. Like at some point, even if that's your guy and you went to college, whatever, like, I'm here for you to score points. Like I can't, I can't watch tough sledding like that. So probably lean Vidal, but it's like you said, probably leaning just not investing in either. Like injuries clearly are happening. This is week 5, week after week after week. Maybe just save your fab for a better play. Like I forget putting fab on Browning in redraft. All right, and I was redraft. It wasn't Dynasty, but I put a lot on him in redraft, and now he's behind Joe Flacco.
Right.
So sometimes you gotta wait.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes you just let somebody else deal with it.
It might not be a bad idea to try to get someone a week early or 2 weeks early, right before an injury happens, but anticipating like, hey, like this is actually a lotto ticket that I don't need to pay fab for, right?
Right.
There are Matt Jones.
So
Matt Jones
let's
is one of them.
Or go grab Hines out of the 3. But to me, Haskins profiles as the first, second down back. Vidal is probably going to be the pass catching third down back, and then Hines will probably kind of compete with him for that role. I think, obviously with Najee Harris and Omari and Hampton, Harbaugh clearly likes having that bigger guy to pound the rock with on first and second down. But also it's like, he's going to let Herbert just fling it because they might be thin at running back, but they're still loaded at receiver. And it's going to be up to Herbert to win some games for them. But yeah, for sure, they've dropped in the power rankings for me. The Chargers have.
Detroit.
Somebody else? Yes.
Detroit, Cincinnati was the last game before the Sunday night game. I think Detroit looks like a Super Bowl team now. Don't know what happened in week 1 because the Packers don't look nearly as good. But I think Detroit's that team still. Clearly, Dan Campbell doesn't need his coordinators, albeit Cincinnati's not a great team. But not much there outside of that. Their skill players look elite. I think we could talk about Detroit every single week. But that's an offense you want to, be a part of, like any player.
Yeah, you want a piece of. Yeah. And it's like if somebody has a down week for Detroit, they're probably going to have a big week next week. It's just they have a bunch of mouths to feed. But
Yeah.
you just start your guys. The only guy I took in redraft, and I never liked him in Dynasty, but Jamison Williams. I thought he was going to have a bigger year. He signed an extension with them. Still just not really that involved in that offense.
Yeah, I think he's actually losing out to their wide receiver 3
Very frustrating.
to Tesla.
He's losing to Tesla. Yeah, for sure.
I think
But he's running cardio out there. Cause Gibbs, Laporta, Montgomery, like Amon-Ra, St. Brown, like those are the guys who are getting the ball. So, all right, Sunday night game. This was another one I hit on. I took the Patriots, and I liked them at plus 325. I didn't live bet this one. I just put it right in the gate.
I like the Patriots too.
I thought those uniforms for the Bills looked terrible. They looked like friggin' Penn State trying to white out. And yeah, I mean, Patriots, it's like, don't look now, but Patriots used to run that division.
Yeah, Drake May is the guy.
Patriots, you want to talk about coaches who are starting to get stale? Like Josh Allen has been propping this dude up for a long time. Talking about Sean McDermott. Maybe it's time, like, you've seen how quick windows close in the NFL. But he's benching players. A lot of these guys these coaches on a bit of a power trip, and it's hurting their team. I don't know what's going on with Travion Henderson, so you might need to explain that to me. Because at this point, I don't think Antonio Gibson tore his ACL, so he's gonna have to step up. But Ramondre Stevenson put it on the ground again, and Vrabel's still putting him out there. But I don't necessarily, I can't be like, this is all on Vrabel, because I've seen film now where when Henderson's on the field, he's asking the fullback which way he's supposed to run on the play. So
I mean, he's a rookie, right? He's still figuring it out.
I know he's a rookie. Quinshawn Judikins isn't doing that. Emeka Mbuka is not doing that. I think that's part of the reason he's not seeing the field is because he doesn't know his assignment.
Well, so he is seeing the field, but it's so Emeka Mbuka, I'm not gonna get into that. He's a receiver, but it's not fair comparison because it's like, what are they being asked to do? So Josh McDaniels, I don't know why, he just does, notoriously runs an overly complicated, like archaic offensive system. Even for the Raiders, like I remember, like they were talking about, they're like, what? Wait, what's going on? Right? You just like the Bill Belichick. It's like, hey, like this needs to be like a 6-step drop, and you need to cut it this whatever, right? It's because I
forgot he'd coached the Raiders.
Right? I think they're used to playing with like players that maybe have like less athleticism, so they're and it's okay that it's great to have fundamentals. It's not what I'm saying, but he definitely.
Are you talking about Tom Brady?
Yeah, but they overcomplicate it, right? So, that's one thing. The second,
it's not overly complicated. If the quarterback understands it, it's not
no.
Like Tom Brady understood the system. Well, Drake May is understanding the system.
Tom Brady was in that system for 3 years before he ever saw the field. Plenty of time to understand the system. Number one. Number two, Drake May is in year 2 of the system. Did not look great in his first 4 games last year, figuring out the system. And the last thing I would say is that they need to feature him more, right? So they're not featuring him. I agree, he needs to learn the system better. That's on him. He'll need to step up, and understand that. But from my vantage point is, Ramondre Stevenson always gets an injury. Like they're going to need to rely upon him at some point, especially now that they're a good team. And when he breaks out, it's going to be something fierce. But they're all taking time. Actually, this is the last thing I'm going to say. People sat Derrick Henry for 2 years behind a good back. He did.
Who is the back?
Derrick Henry.
Who do you sit him behind?
DeMarco Murray. So DeMarco Murray was a good back, maybe Pro Bowl-ish, not like a All Pro type of player. I'd probably say Pro Bowl-ish. So better than Ramondre.
He was nice back in the day. He was nice.
But he didn't. He was nice on Dallas. Pro Bowl on Dallas. I don't think he's really Pro Bowl on Tennessee. So ish type of player.
No, he wasn't. But Tennessee is where running backs go to die.
Right. Or is it Vrabel?
Shout out to Tony Pollard.
Or is it Vrabel? Right. So I say all to say is like, he really makes those young guys earn it. But all that tells me is that Trevor Henderson's gonna have a long career. because he split carries his last year in college, and he's splitting them his first year in the league. And at some point, he's going to be fresh for a lot longer.
Yeah, but I'm saying if he doesn't understand the playbook, he might not have a long career.
I mean, he might not for the Pats, but the playbook, like I said, it's Josh McDaniels, Ben Johnson. There's certain systems that I say I'll probably take 2 years to understand. Those are that. And again, not trying to make excuses. I do have a lot of Travion Henderson in a lot of my leagues. I love him as a player. The other thing is, the brother won a national championship, right? Like, there was no time between him winning the Natty and getting ready for the draft. Start training for the draft. I think what I'm saying is, like,
so did Quinshawn Judikins, and he also he managed to get arrested too.
Well, he had plenty of time to
miss all of training
He had
camp.
plenty of time to learn the playbook when he wasn't at practice because he wasn't on the team, right?
Oh, so if he's learning the playbook better in jail,
He wasn't in jail.
then...
He was not in jail. He was at home.
Okay, away from the team. He's down in Florida, I don't know.
Again,
let's move on from
offensive
that,
system, though, right? I don't know what Cleveland's running system is.
I'll give it to you that maybe he needs to earn it, but I mean, it could be if he continues to struggle, he would be a great. If you believe in the talent, I would say he's a great buy low in Dynasty if he continues to struggle, because maybe the owner who has him doesn't feel the same way about him as you do.
For me, it's like you said, you gotta believe in talent. See what you're seeing.
And even if he moves on from McDaniels and Vrabel, it's something where he could thrive in a different situation or a different running scheme.
This is Dynasty, though. His ceiling is so much higher than any other RB on that team that if you really are worried, just go trade for Ramondre Stevenson. I'm serious. Like, have the floor for your arguably probably going to be a top 5 RB at the end of the season in Dynasty. Top 10. I'd book top 10 up. I mean, he already is top 10, I believe.
What?
Travion Henderson.
Who?
Hendo in Dynasty. So I'm saying, like,
he's top 10?
Yeah. On the keep trade cut. Last time I checked.
Okay.
But I'm saying I think could reach top 5. I'd say likely if he gets the majority of the but yeah, in Dynasty I wouldn't worry. Redraft, you might need to figure something out for the interim.
They have him at 4. Keep trade cut has him at
14, so he's dropped
with Bryce Hall at 15th.
Who's the top 10?
At 17.
Who's the top 10 right now?
All right, real quick for the listeners. Bijan Robinson, Jamar Gibbs, Genty, JT at 4, Omari and Hampton at 5, Bucky Irving at 6, Achane at 7, Barkley at 8, James Cook at 9.
James Cook?
And Quinshawn
James Cook. He should be at 9. Yeah, he should be.
Quinshawn Judikins at 10.
Sheesh.
Man,
what's 11?
The one
11
thing for
to
me,
15. Real quick for the listeners.
11 is Christian McCaffrey, who I would put at 5, where Omari and Hampton is.
Yeah, honestly.
Come on.
Omari and Hampton should be at 11.
Christian McCaffrey, like, number one, Omari and Hampton's hurt.
Exactly.
Christian McCaffrey is on pace for having a historic season as a receiver. Like, take the rushing out of it. Okay, Kyron Williams at 12, Josh Jacobs 13, Travion Henderson 14, Breece Hall 15, Kenneth Walker, Cam Scatterbo, Derrick Henry, Chase Brown.
Derrick Henry's down. So honestly, like, now that I'm realizing it's actually just a really good running back group now. After this draft class, like, they just like have elevated. You just named basically 20 running backs.
This was a really good class. And one guy who Scatterbo, like, that's an example of the combine and the draft process just totally devaluing a player. It's like, sure, he doesn't want to wait 40. He doesn't do that. But, like, you and I watched him play at ASU. Like, we both knew he was going to be a stud. There is no reason he should have gone as late as he did. I regret not being more aggressive to get Cam Scatterbo.
RJ Harvey wasn't even, like, really, I mean, he's had one game, but he's, like, broke out yet. Isn't even top 20. I didn't hear you name Bill.
He's 21.
Where's Bill? Cross right?
26.
Like, this class is insane. Like, he's going to, Bill's going to be top 20, right? RJ's going to be top 20. Bacial's going to be top 20.
Tudin is 29.
Like, incredible class. Incredible RB class.
Ollie Gordon at 36.
Ollie Gordon should be top 30. Should probably be top 25. Like, incredible.
Dylan Sampson. Yeah. Dylan Sampson at 40. Yeah, this was a great class for RBs. And that's what I mean. Like classes can have this wasn't a great class for quarter. Like Cam Ward, and he's gonna have a long career, but I don't think this is gonna be a great quarterback class. Maybe Dart redeems it, but this has been a really great wide receiver and running back class.
Yeah,
And tight, like some of the tight ends are looking nice.
the running back and
Like
tight end class,
Tyler Warren.
deep.
And another thing I want to say, an example of just too much time between college football playoffs and the draft and stuff. For Colston Loveland to get hyped up so much more than Tyler Warren in the Dynasty community, where people were drafting him above Warren, just you're overthinking it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. No. But here's the thing, though. Okay, so you're right.
You're overthinking.
You're
Because everyone's like, Ben Johnson's coming. This is what they did with Laporta. It's an unknown. Colston Loveland barely played.
okay.
I mean, he was good while he played, but you're talking about somebody who had a historic season.
Do you think
at Penn State.
Do you think Colston Loveland will be a top 5 dynasty tight end this time next year?
Top 5 dynasty tight end this time next year?
Yeah.
No.
Do you think it'll be top 10?
I think it'll be top 10 just based on draft capital and potential. But I see Harold Fannin. I see Mason Taylor. I see Elijah Arroyo and even Terrence Ferguson for the Rams all being more valuable than Loveland.
So I think this is a historic tight end class, like the RB class. It's just going to take a little bit longer, and a lot of them are really young. But I think Colston Loveland, honestly, probably still has for fantasy football, still has the highest ceiling long term. And maybe Fergie, maybe Mason. I mean, Mason looks great. Like he looks like he has the best hands.
Are you taking Warren out of the equation?
No. So here's my context with Warren.
You're saying above Warren, because I think that's ridiculous.
No. So I'm talking again. This is Dynasty, right? So I'm saying long term. Mason Taylor, for example.
I understand.
Mason Taylor, for example, is 21. Tyler Warren is 24. So I have to project where's Mason Taylor going to be at 24. I think he's going to be better than what Tyler Warren is at 24, right? So it's not even about how long is Tyler Warren going to play. It means how close is Tyler Warren to his ceiling. I think he's much closer to his ceiling than all the other players I just mentioned. So the next question is like, okay, well, how high are the other players' ceilings, right? That's what it is. For me, Tyler Warren, while he's sitting as high, he's a lot closer to it. He's a lot more in the type of style he plays. I don't think is going to prolong his career. Like kind of like the lumbering. Like
he's not lumbering.
He's to me he's more. What do you think he's like the route runner that the other guys are? What do you think? I think he's explosive, but
Yeah.
I think he's still more lumbering. He's 6'6". He's huge, but I don't think he's the route runner
I think he should be tight end 1 right now. He should be tight end 1
in Dynasty
overall, yeah, above Bowers.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
And I would actually drop Bowers below McBride.
Yeah,
I'd go Tyler Warren, Trey McBride, Brock Bowers.
Dynasty. Yeah.
Colston Loveland right now is at 7, which I think is disrespectful to Jake Ferguson, who's a guy I gave up on way too early. I think that's disrespectful to Strange, who, even though he got hurt, which kind of sucks. We got to talk about the Jags. But I think Brendan Strange, he's only 23.
Yeah. But again, this is not a knock on
Colston Loveland. Colston Loveland is young, yes. But like what I'm saying is the dynasty nerds overthought this one because they were looking at the measurables, they were looking at the combine. They're like, Ben Johnson's going to Chicago. Hear me out though. And they weren't watching the tape of Penn State and this man literally willing the Nittany Lions to victory and almost a national championship. Like he put that whole team on his back against, what I would say would be a tougher schedule than what Michigan had. And, Loveland wasn't on the field all the time. And when he was on the field, he wasn't blocking. He was running, go routes and stuff. Like, I think people were betting on potential versus proven production.
Of course they were.
And I'd much rather take proven production.
But now,
like, I don't care if he's a little bit older.
now let's be honest though.
Because guess what? Some of these guys, he's reaching his ceiling. If this is his ceiling and he's reaching it 5 games into the season, like, that's incredible for a rookie tight end. Usually that takes.
Okay, but we saw this with Brock Bowers, right? So here's the other thing. When I said he's more lumbering, that might have been disrespectful. They're gonna figure out how to key in on him and match up against him, right? So when I said lumbering, is like that's how he's gonna have to play to kind of be like adjustment proof, if you will. Like he's not gonna beat anybody with his route running, his speed down the seam, things like that. Like his blocking is good, but he's very versatile. Like he's very good at like a lot of things. But outside of like outside of the jump ball,
so is Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce's an elite route runner, in my opinion, which is why he's been able to play for so long. His hands are elite. Probably again, I don't want to talk about Travis Kelce,
but that's I'm putting tier.
Like producing fantasy football points. No, I would say he's Brock Bowers last year, and I just got to see it a couple times. That's why I like Colston Loveland. If your base is the route running and getting open time after time after time, and having to be schemed open, it's going to be much harder to stop you long term. That's why Devontae Adams is still a top 13 fantasy football wide receiver right now, and he's 34. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like if you want to invest in something like that, or like Mike Evans, right? That's what you're kind of getting. Colston Loveland might take longer. Devontae Adams took
Wait,
2
what?
years.
What?
As far as like the argument between like
no,
what you don't think that Colston Loveland has that level of like potential
as Mike Evans or Devontae Adams
at the tight end position, like not produce points. I'm talking about career arc.
No, I mean Mike Evans caught 1,000 yards every season. He's with Josh McCown. This guy's not even on the field. He's not on the field.
That was a bad example.
And he was injured. Adams. He was injured at Michigan.
Devontae Adams.
Okay, Devontae.
What did Devontae Adams do for 2 years?
Devontae Adams is better than Colston Loveland.
No, for the first 2 years of his career, he didn't do anything though. Did he?
Okay, maybe he did it. I don't know. When did he get big? With the Packers?
Yeah, after Aaron Rodgers started force feeding him.
Yeah. Well, he's good.
All right. I will agree. Tyler Warren is top 3 right now. I wish I had him in any league. I don't. I'm salty.
I mean, I get like he takes a lot of shots, but he giving them out too, man. Like, dude's a bad man. He's a bad man.
So last point though, because this is actually to make your point is, don't be afraid to. They both had proven production, but Colston Loveland was definitely drafted for. Colston Loveland had like 700 yards in college as a tight end. That's proven production. I know it's not the 1,000 that 700, right? I'm just saying historically. Let me finish the point because I'm agreeing with you. The thing is, don't be afraid to go get Warren. See that Colston Loveland is injured. Know that he is at a lower value in the offseason, and then go trade for him if you want both, right? But get the proven guy, because sometimes people are like, oh, like, I'm rebuilding. I can wait on Loveland. It's like, no. You should still always have a Tyler Warren, right? But maybe you just need to go trade for Loveland, right? Instead of like, when we say go get your guy, it doesn't mean necessarily go draft or overdraft your guy. Sometimes you got to trade for him. If you think that there might be a
right, but now Tyler Warren's now unobtainable.
Exactly, but Colston Loveland isn't. So that's what I'm saying is like, from the two of them,
right?
To your point, you knew that Warren's going to get started quicker and faster. Well, maybe you didn't because you believed that Daniel Jones was not going to be able to get him the ball, which I think was probably overstated during the offseason as well. But Warren was more pro-ready.
Anthony Richardson would be starting.
That's true, which was not going to get him the ball. But just always bet on the talent.
But here, let me just okay. So Colston Loveland's best season, he had 649 yards. And then in 2024,
and won a ring.
He played 7 games. He caught 56 balls for 582 yards.
In how many games?
In 7.
That's a lot.
So he averaged 10 yards a catch.
Yeah, there's a potential. He got injured. He's gonna be a beast at some point.
Okay. Tyler Warren played 16 of 16 games in 2024. He caught 104 balls for 1,233 yards, 8 touchdowns, and then he ran the ball 26 times for 218 yards, averaging 8.4 a clip, and scored 4 touchdowns.
He did. He was elite.
So 12 touchdowns.
He was elite.
12 touchdowns.
At 24 years old.
Sure.
But what would Coastal Loveland be doing at 24 years old in college?
Right, I know, but like an egg in the basket is worth two in the book. Like, I don't know, like I'm looking at what they did their last season in college, but I find it weird that Dynasty, like people overthought it when you're putting Loveland in front of a guy who had just an absolutely insane historic
I
season
understand that, but so did
and played the whole
so did
year.
Harold Fran Jr. If we're gonna go by that route, and you didn't put him in front of Tyler Warren.
Well, yeah.
He had a better
I would
season.
rather have Harold Fan. I would trade Harold Fannin if I had Colson Loveland. I'm trying to sell him.
No, listen. I'm saying Harold Fran Jr. had the best tight end season of all time, better than Tyler Warren's last year.
Right.
But
So I would have taken Fannin too.
But I'm saying no, the community didn't. We didn't. Yeah, I'm making your point, which is like you should always look at the production, be like, hey, that's going to translate because
I
it
think
does.
there is some deep sleepers who are looking at Fannin who called those out. And I made the situation where I took a guy like Loveland and Arroyo who was injured, didn't have the production, and I wish I would have went the other direction. Speaking of tight ends, Theo Johnson for New York. He's starting to ball out with Dart a little bit. If he's available on waivers, God forbid, I would go get him. And then AJ Barner just won't go away. He scored twice on the Bucks, and he's just he's keeping Arroyo off the field. Yeah, but you know, tight end's a crapshoot. It's a gamble. But if you can have a guy that you can just plug and get production out every week, that's a luxury. And Tyler Warren's going to be a guy you're not taking out of your lineup until he's done, until he hangs him up. All right, last game, Monday Night Football. I watched the whole thing, and I can't tell you who played.
It was
because I'm stoned, but I won
Chiefs.
the bet.
It was the Chiefs, and
oh yeah, the Chiefs, and they lost
Jags.
to. I gotta eat some crow on this one. They lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars down in Duval. How about the Chiefs coming up with creative ways to lose? Yeah, I think it was 14-0 really quick, and I was like, the Jaguars are the worst 3-1 team in football. And then as soon as I said that, I threw $20 on them. And the Chiefs proceeded to drop the groceries. They let God talk about that pick six. That might have been the play of the year so far. Did you see that pick six?
I did see the pick six. I saw the highlight of the pick six.
That was awesome.
Was to go them
played. Yeah. And then Trevor Lawrence gets down there, his guard steps on his foot, and he just manages to get up and go running in for the win.
Head first.
And then
head first too.
What yeah, on his birthday. Yeah, I put a little more respect on it. And Liam Cohen's actually he's building a team down there or up there. But yeah, Chiefs just don't look like it's an effort thing. They just think they can still show up and expect to win. And then what surprised me too is the Chiefs got the ball back with time and timeouts, and they just couldn't get it down the field. Like Hollywood Brown was running, across the field. He was open. All they needed was a field goal. And Mahomes slings it, and Hollywood's not even looking for the ball. So whatever timing, like, and this is something we talked about with Cardinals, all fans, you don't expect the Chiefs to fall into that category, but they're losing to, teams that you would think this would be an automatic win for them, especially when you jump out with a lead. But Chris Jones was standing around when Trevor Lawrence is on the ground. He thought the play was over. Travis Kelce knocks out your dude for 3 weeks. They're I don't know. They got their rings though. If it's blow it up time for Kansas City, it's like, okay, I don't feel bad for them. Everyone who is like, again, this is an example of people like putting the proof before the pudding. They're like, well, if Tom Brady won 7 rings, Patrick Mahomes on pace for 10. It's like, well, slow the fuck down.
You remember what I said though? 2 and 3 is not panic time. I think I said if they're 3 and 3 or they're 4 and 2, when Rashee Rice comes back, they're good. They're 2 and 3 right now. If they win next week, and they get Rashee Rice back, who's their best offensive player, they're fine. It's going to open up everything. It's going to open up the run game.
Sure, but you ready to give them the Super Bowl?
And now that Baltimore doesn't like, so let's look at the AFC first. I said the Chargers, right? Chargers aren't stepping it up. It's really the Colts. I think that the Chiefs, if I'm betting on the Colts against the Chiefs, if the Chiefs have to go to Lucas Oil, no, I'm betting on the Chiefs. Like who else? I mean, the Bills. I'm not betting on the Bills against the Chiefs if they meet in the playoffs this year. I'm really
You're
not.
not?
No, they just lost to the Patriots.
All right.
Like
I mean, Patriots can make some noise.
they could, but you even just said about their coaching. Like Andy Reid's gonna coach circles around Buffalo's coach. So it's like in the playoffs. It's just like
I mean, maybe, but I mean, like they might have to see Jacksonville again too,
exactly.
because
Well,
Jacksonville's 4-1.
exactly. So this is a year where it's like there's a bunch of teams that are unordinarily like at the top. Jacksonville and the Colts, right? The Steelers with Aaron Rodgers and the Bills, and it's like I don't think any of those teams are like a great team. Maybe the Colts, but again, I'm like I just have to see it with the Colts, bro. Like it kind of the Colts kind of
I
look.
mean, you haven't seen it?
No, the Colts are kind of like Minnesota last year with Sam Darnold. Looked like world beaters, but like last game of the season didn't get
Also,
it done, and then something else
I
got.
think
Yeah, like
so. Colts are 4-1. Jags are 4-1. I wouldn't write off the Broncos, especially after beating Philadelphia. They start kind of slow,
for the Super
but
Bowl.
I
No,
wouldn't. I mean, not for the Super Bowl, but for like the Chiefs have to get out of their own division first.
and they will.
So you got the Chargers and the Broncos in front of them,
Game in front of
and
them, bro.
then
One game.
Patriots and the Bills. Yeah, one game in front of them. Yes.
I don't know. They lost to the Jags. Not
That's
a good
that's
loss.
assuming that both those teams, don't win next week. But I haven't looked at who's next week's schedule, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But yeah, I think what I'm saying is like there's no way everyone's ready to give Patrick Mahomes 8 Super Bowl rings.
I was just talking about getting there, but
It's not
yeah.
happening.
All right,
He's won it.
we'll disagree there.
All right, shout out to any. Yeah, let's wrap it up. We didn't do a deep dive into waivers. I think we got a good clip about Vidal and Haskins. Who are you going? Who are some guys you're adding this week? Not to give away too much strategy.
Those two mainly, but it's, like I said, this might be a week where I sit back and I'm not as active. Like kind of seeing like I said, Browning putting a bunch of fab towards him. Darius Slayton, who's now injured. Some people like really gave up a lot for him. So it's like sometimes you want to wait for like a more prime, obvious like candidate.
Yeah.
So
I think waiting sometimes everyone's in a hurry to add guys, but like if your team is performing well, there's no reason to do it. Like sometimes the smartest move you can make is not making a move. And this doesn't seem like a week where I'm, gonna go out of my way. One dude I think is legit is I think Kendrick Bourne is legit for the Niners.
yeah,
They literally have nobody. This guy has been people have been down on him his whole career, and he's produced. And then a guy who made some noise in the Dynasty community, but didn't really see the playing field, Ryan Flournoy, Cowboys. I think he went undrafted, 6'1", but he got 9 targets for $114 outside of, I think he's taking that role that we thought Tolbert was going to have.
yeah. Tolbert's toast.
And I remember him getting some buzz coming out of college. Let me see. Yeah, he was a 6th-round pick. He's a guy who's he's just working his way. He's got talent, and he's working his way into a good situation if the Cowboys offense is putting up points like they're doing. Yeah. I mean, not a huge waiver week for me. I might sit back, and another guy at wide receiver though might be worth an ad. Xavier Hutchinson for the Texans. He's kind of that clear cut number 2. He had a really nice game. Houston's on a bye next week, so this might be a guy you can pick up on a bye week because if he has another big performance coming out of the bye, he's going to be much more expensive. So
I don't know. They drafted 2 wide receivers this year. If you don't have Nico Collins, I don't. It's kind of like Arizona's backfield for me. Just like Tweety put back.
I mean that's true, but I would just say from
if you're rebuilding, sure, I agree, 100%. Give the room
a snap count per he's getting 60-70% of the snaps. I mean, obviously,
what's Higgins getting? I'm curious.
let me check it.
That's a good amount. 67.
Higgins is getting 40, 44, 44, 43.
Okay. So then,
Yeah, and then Jalen Noel, yeah, is the other guy they drafted. I don't think I have him in any leagues. I would
I
imagine
might go pick
he
up
did
Higgins
catch
for
a
myself.
touchdown though.
Yeah, but yeah, 67 is a lot. That means that they like him a lot.
For Hutchinson,
Yeah.
Xavier Hutchinson.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's a good
it's a
ad.
good if you have if you have bench space, if you have rooms to do it. Also, I think Mitchell Evans from the Panthers, he came out of man, is he out of Notre Dame or Iowa? He's out of one of those tight end schools. You know what I mean? That just always seems to be yeah, yeah, Notre Dame. And while they're not like Iowa in terms of tight end university, they're a pretty good tight end school. And he's 6'5", 250, big dude. He's been making he made that touchdown to win the game for the Panthers. He's a rookie. Not a bad dart throw. Tight end, like I said, tight end's a crapshoot unless you got some of these elite guys. So churn your roster on that. And yeah, that's good. But we're almost at we went a little over. We didn't get everything we hit, but
Okay.
I think
This
we
is
got some
great.
good clips in there.
This is great.
Yeah. I think we got some good segments.
I'm gonna stop it. Or is there something else you want to say to sign off? Want to talk about
No, just
avocado
big
toast real quick or no?
Yeah, let's give boys and ladies a little love in the league. You think we both need to apologize to Spencer?
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pretender is
Well,
not a
I
pretender.
especially do. I especially do because his historic. I think this is the first time he's ever beat me. He might have beat me like once, but I usually just dominate him. And it was shaping up like I was gonna get away with it again. And then his team just kept punching the gas. So he's got a different gear this year. That's for sure.
Different
And
gear.
he's definitely in the lead, but it's still a long season, and don't celebrate early. Don't drop the ball before you hit the goal line.
Yeah. One of the reasons I did say that he was a pretender is because although Patrick Mahomes looks like Patrick Mahomes, so his quarterbacks they're hooping like he almost put up 200 points. Shouts to
Right.
him.
But here's the thing, though. He's looking good now. If they continue to lose, that's going to be bad for his fantasy value come playoff time.
Well, you're gonna sit him or something. I mean, yeah.
No, you're not going to sit them. But I'm saying if they continue to struggle
I see what you're saying.
and lose games, it's going to impact. You got to look at. You should be looking at strengths of schedule come playoff time if you're a contending team, and if your guys are going to be playing for something or not. So you and I can disagree on the Chiefs, but we'll see which direction they go. Same thing with the Falcons. It's like, is Bijan going to be pounding the rock if the season's lost at the end of the year?
Yeah. I was gonna say shout out to Team Bill.
You know,
Shout out to Team Bill. That was a close matchup. I did get it. Sent Team Bill to 1-4. Your boy is now
yeah,
4-1. There's a lot of 1-4 or 3 1-4 teams. A 2-3 team that's probably not going to win more than 2 more games. And I think Kamish's team took a huge hit with Amari and Hamptons. I think it's really James' anti-hero that could knock out one of the teams that's currently in the playoffs.
yeah.
Because I mean, he
I
actually
agree.
has a lot of points for the third highest, I believe.
Yeah,
But we'll see. I mean, he has Jonathan Taylor, dude. Jonathan Taylor is like MVP right now. I'm like, shoot.
well, so here's the deal. You play him next week, so
This week now.
that's gonna be pivotal to his playoff
Yeah. He needs
chances.
to win this.
How this game goes down, and I get Matt this week, and I've come off two really
You need to buy.
yeah. Well, I lost to you by a couple points. We both put up like 150, and then I lose to Spencer by like 30 points, but he puts up almost 200. 166 gets it done against everybody but Fernie. So, and your brother had a nice week.
He did.
Yeah. That'd be rough for old Jordan down there at the bottom
Wow.
next to Matt.
Update to injury. Brenton Strange, because I haven't, has been placed in IR.
Okay.
So
That sucks.
Wow.
For you.
You know what? Parker Washington, go get him.
Well, we talked about Parker Washington. Another guy I was watching the game, Johnny Munt, 30 years old. He was the next man up. That might be you might be able to get him for free. Not that he's gonna do too much. Other guy down in Jacksonville, I think I called him out. Hunter Long.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe just avoid that one. Nice to see Taysom Hill back on the field. I shouldn't have played him, but I just played him for the lulz. Because last time I played Spencer, Taysom put up 60 points on him. So I thought it was meant to be. I should have played Cat Auden, who had a really nice game.
Wow.
The 1 week I benched him, but it still wouldn't have been enough. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. There's some news that
Fine.
we didn't cover. 3 hours ago, Mark Andrews is rumored to be available for trade. Wow. Baltimore might be shedding contracts. They're not trying to compete.
Yeah, man. They're 1-4, yeah.
Isaiah Likely era is here.
Well, and this is,
Zay Flowers era.
smart dynasty players should be mirroring look at what good organizations are doing in real life, So if this year's not going the way you want, like now's the time to make moves. But as you said, we'll go full circle here because this is how you started the show. If you're 5-0, 4-1, don't try to make a move just to be like, oh, now this is going to push me over the top. The teams that should be doing that are the ones who are, right around 500.
In the middle, yeah.
I'm really confident about my team. I had 2 bad beats. I'm not going to get anybody right now.
And you might get a W this week.
Not that I don't have the ammunition, even if I wanted to, but I'm happy with my team. If you're 3-2 and you're not that confident about your team, or you've got some close wins, it's like, yeah, maybe go get somebody. But if this is not your year, start acquiring draft capital and moving on from some older players while they have value, because they could lose all value very quickly. And with that, my friend, I think we're good.
All right, brother. You have
all right, dude.
Safe travel.
We'll chop it up. Yeah, I'm gonna go for a drive. Go for a nice little drive.
I just stopped the record. How you up there for a week, you said?
Fantasy, we going over player props and ADP. Waiver wire, all the things you need. We got the fire, highly disputed. We in the studio, just pour a drink. We getting loose and now we in sync. It's not unusual to disagree. Highly disputed.